In a political context marked by broken promises and successive disappointment, Nicole Assélé, a former Gabonese minister, has expressed her support for Alain-Claude Bilie-Nze, candidate in the presidential election of April 12, 2025. She calls on the Gabonese people to rally around his candidacy, which she sees as a beacon of change and hope at a time of popular frustration due to the disappointed expectations of successive leaders. For her, Alain-Claude Bilie-Nze embodies a break with the practices of the past.
Je vous invite donc tous.
I therefore invite you all to come together and support Bilie-Nze.
Bilie-By-Nze.
As the election campaign gathers momentum and citizens prepare to make a crucial choice, the question of change in Gabon remains at the heart of the debate. Nicole Assélé, a leading figure on Gabon's political scene, has said that of the 8 candidacies validated by the Electoral Commission, that of Alain-Claude Bilie-Nze is the only one that complies with Gabonese law.
Alain-Claude Bilie-By-Nze.
Have only Alain-Claude Bilie-Nze, Ali Agba Onanga Yobegri, Francis Nkei Nzige, and a handful of compatriots become co-responsible and co-beneficiaries of Ali Bongo Ondimba's 14 years of governance. I wonder at this sickening spectacle of treachery. A senior medical officer, Nicole Assélé, was minister delegate to the Deputy Prime Minister in charge of vocational training and youth integration in Gabon in 2015, before heading the Ministry of Sport from 2017 to 2024 under the former President Ali Bongo. Now a writer, she has 10 convention on its head with Moi Éternel Apprenti, a book published in February 2025 in which she recounts her 34-year journey within Freemasonry, tracing her initiation and her personal journey. Gabon has been facing electricity distribution challenges for several months now, affecting the population, the economy, and investment in the country. To elevate the problem, presidential candidate Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema plans to build a gas-fired power station with a capacity of over 50 megawatts, as well as hydroelectric dams. He also promises to improve the drinking water supply system throughout the country.
Dès le début de mon mandat,
From the start of my mandate from 2025 to 2027, I pledge to invest massively in energy because access to electricity is not a privilege, but a constitutional right.
mais un droit constitutionnel.
Guest on Africa's 24th Decryptage program, Seraphine Akori-Deven, dwelled on major projects awaiting candidate Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema if he is elected head of state in Gabon on the evening of April 12.
Au niveau de l'eau et l'énergie, je rappelle que
As far as water and energy are concerned, I would remind you that this is the #1 pillar and one of the concerns expressed by our candidate. He will be tackling these water and electricity problems as soon as he is elected, and we hope he will. It's about solving domestic energy and water problems, so that's life. The life of us Gabonese is no longer an ordeal.
ne soit plus un calvaire.
If elected on April 12, 2025, candidate Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema hopes to implement a number of solutions, improved and transparent distribution to put an end to the problems of load shedding, water cut, and poor management of the system.
Il est important de souligner que les problèmes que nous avons aujourd'hui sont dus justement à un manque d'investissement.
It is important to stress that the problems we are experiencing today are due precisely to lack of investment and lack of maintenance of our production facilities over the past 15 years. In addition to these domestic problems, we are setting up gas-fired power station to ensure that in the next 2 or 3 years, we can stabilize the energy supply we provide to the people of Gabon and a little further on. We have the major structuring project, in particular the Boué Dam, which at around 400 megawatts should enable us to cover our energy needs with the other structures.
Qui, autour de 400 mégawatts, doit nous amener à couvrir avec les autres structures nos besoins en énergie.
Candidate Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema is also committed to achieving the expected capacity of 1,100 megawatts as a first step. Despite significant legislative process over the past 10 years in Gabon, the representation of women in politics remains an uphill battle. Article 55 of the Transition Charter, published in September 2023, states that gender must be taken into account in the composition of the various government bodies. According to official figures, only around 13% of the municipalities are run by women, and just 19% of members of the National Assembly are women. Yes, I will say it again, efforts have been made, but it's still far from being enough. Gabon has adopted important legislation, such as the Law on Parity in 2021, which aims to guarantee balanced representation of men and women in elected and appointed positions. We have also seen women rise to strategic and important positions as Prime Minister, where they are not breaking with the old regime, President of the Senate or the new regime, but with the old regime as well, or women ministers with key portfolios which are assets that they are advancing and that we must not rule yes. Aware of the role of Gabonese women in society, the Central African country adopted a law in 2024 on parity in electoral mandates. The appointment of Rose Christian Osuka Raponda as Prime Minister in 2020 and Lucie Milebu Obuson as President of the Senate until 2023 justifies the will of the Gabonese state to enhance its national strategy for gender equality and equity adopted in 2010. In practice, women are in the minority in parliament, even though it is composed of two chambers. The reference of the gender stereotype, a lack of institutional support, and sometimes the absence of any concrete mechanism to support women's transition to leadership are all the factors that contribute to the glass ceiling in senior management and local governance. In order to increase representation, we need to go further. We need a firm political will, rigorously applied quotas, and above all, in-depth work on education, training and empowering women from the earliest age. Parity must not be a slogan, but a reality at all levels of public life. Despite these initiatives, it remains difficult for Gabonese women to attain positions of power. With just a few days to go before the presidential elections on April 12, women are hoping that the future president will ensure effective parity in the various decision-making bodies. With a contribution of 53.53% to GDP, the industrial sector, including hydrocarbons, represents a lever for the diversification of Gabon's economy. Although significant progress has been made in recent years, the sector still faces structural shortcomings, notably dependence on raw materials and lack of diversification of economic potential. In the run-up to the presidential election scheduled for April 12, 2025, the sector is at the center of all debates. Reforms to strengthen industrialization policies are on the cards. Gabon is looking for an energy credit. We went to the North Zone. This electricity interconnection between Equatorial Guinea and Gabon is extraordinary. This is to tell you that there is an energy deficit that unfortunately prevents us from creating and setting up industries. That's the first obstacle.
Implanter des industries. Ça, c'est le premier frein.
A strategic pillar of the economic transformation plan, Gabon's industry, including oil, will account for more than 50% of gross domestic product by 2023, driven mainly by hydrocarbons and mining. The lack of infrastructure and difficulties in accessing finance are holding back the emergence of a competitive industrial fabric. The government is banking on industrialization to support non-oil growth. This ambition is embodied in special economic zones such as Coque, which is now home to almost 140 companies from 19 different countries.
Un certain nombre d'entités qui m'ont permis de savoir que
a number of entities have enabled me to know that things have been done. The tour of the Nkok Industrial Zone showed me that we are not, as many people think, behind schedule. A lot has been done. I think it's a place like this that is a powerful symbol and that allows Gabon to be held up as an example.
Le Gabon un exemple.
At the crossroads, the various presidential candidates are expected to outline their commitment to industrialization. For economic players, the forthcoming election are an opportunity to breathe new life into a sector with immense potential but still in need of structuring.